Well, well, well. We're back again. I am like the rubbish version of the Renegade Master, back once again. Not with any ill behaviour though, because tonight is all about the simrace247.com British GT4 series here at oNiD Racing. Welcome back to oNiD if you're a returnee, and welcome for the first time if you are joining us for the first time, either live here on Twitch, or of course you might be watching it back either via Twitch or YouTube. So welcome along, and feel free to get yourself involved, especially if you are watching / listening live. It'd be great to have you join me in the chat room tonight, so that you can follow the race along and interact with me as I talk. For those of you who don't know me, by the way, my name is Adam D. Otherwise known at the moment as Adam Pegleg, but most of you know why by now. It's not at all frustrating to be sat here commentating when I would much prefer to be driving, but oh well, such is life. But it is always good fun to be chatting to you guys and walking you through the fun times that we're about to have on track. These GT4 races always prove to be popular here at oNiD. I know that some communities shy away from GT4 racing, or maybe don't find them as popular. We always manage to fill a good grid here at oNiD on GT4, and from a stream point of view, it always provides some spectacular racing. So strap yourselves in, because we are in for some good fun tonight. 20 drivers in the server at the moment. I think there might be a couple more joining us before the end, but even if not, then 20 is a great number for some GT4s around Brands Hatch. Good evening to those of you in chat. So, hello, Hi Commander Bean. How are you, sir? Great to have you along as usual, and you're on track tonight as well in the KTM, which might prove to be a sensible choice, because I think we might be in for some changeable weather conditions this evening. So let's just take a quick look on track. There's not a huge amount going on track right now, because these guys will be in their driver's briefing. There's maybe a couple of cars haven't quite picked up the note that they should be in the pits for said driver's briefing. So let's stick up the Twitch chat so that you can get involved. So yeah, Hiker, welcome along. Princess JT, always good to have you in the chat for yet another oNiD race. Thank you very much for joining. Good evening to you as well. Rydav Deja Vu, indeed you are back, and you are with the Van der Veen fan club. Great to have you along here with us tonight as well. And Texalt, hi everybody. Hi Texalt. All I can say. If you do sense a little bit of echoiness, or maybe hear some noise in the background, I am, whilst I'm temporarily hobbling around, unable to get out to the sim garage, so everything has moved inside into the kitchen, and the washing machine's on, and it's a little echoey in here, so if it sounds a bit different to normal, that's why. But I currently have to be sat with my leg elevated, and yeah, getting out to the getting out to the sim garage really doesn't help out with that. I've decided that's what I'm going to call it from now on, the sim garage, rather than the shed. That would be inaccurate, although it's a shed, really. So, yeah, good evening, Big Nod. I really should put my glasses on. I almost called you something else then. Or maybe I just need my phone a little bit closer to me. Yes, Big Nod, 00, evening. Hope it's a great race as usual. Yes, so do I. They normally are in GT4s, and we've got a real mixture of cars out there tonight as well. Sim garage, someone's doing well for themselves. No, completely the opposite. It means that I've been relegated to the shed to do my sim racing. No, it's, as some of you know, I operate sim-stuff.com, and also for anyone who's ever into model railways, I also do rail-stuff.com. Run that from my garage / workshop, but that is also where I keep the rig, and I am missing the rig. I'm almost 2 weeks out of the rig now, and it's probably going to be at least another 5 or 6 weeks before I can even contemplate sitting back down in the rig. So guys, all I would say is, you're fit and healthy enough to go racing, enjoy it, get out there and do it, because yeah, you miss it when you can't all of a sudden. Let's just take a quick look. They're all in the pits at the minute, by the way, because they're all having their drivers briefing. Let's just have a look through some of the drivers that we have got here tonight. Ben Brown in a rather fetching oNiD livery. So if any of you need a livery doing, then B22R, Ben22 Racing, that's your place to go. He does a cracking job with those. That's one of the new oNiD Racing liveries, including our channel partners on the top there. You see SimStuff, SimRace247.com, SimRacing.gp, and Caden Computers. Big Nog, gutted to be missing the Rookie League for the next few weeks. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. It's tough to be missing races that you look forward to, but be good to see you in the future. Yeah, thank you for your good wishes as well. Much appreciated. In for the plates and screws and other metally bits on Thursday. So yeah, hopefully that goes well, and then we can start to look forward. And how do I say that? God, my glasses. Metality, I think. It's not going well tonight, is it? Metality, thank you for your good wishes as well. Much appreciated. And actually, everyone at oNiD has been superb in wishing me speedy recovery. Although most people, I think, are finding the tracks a little bit safer with me behind the microphone. Mr. Keg, yeah, basically the way that we have to operate, just to make sure that everyone is a safe racer, is we run evaluation races pre-season. That also helps us rank people into the different classes, which I'll talk about again in just a moment. So that's why the sign-ups are closed. If you ever want to discuss it and just see whether there are opportunities, especially if you've raced with us before and things like that, for the GT4 series, you want to get in touch with Willie Blackhammer. Yeah, you need to drop him a line and see whether there's any gaps for the future. If you're not on, I'm sure you are on our Discord. I'm sure I've seen you before, but if you're not, then hook yourself up on the Discord and find yourself Willie Blackhammer. Good evening, Bocknots. Some of these names are fantastic. Love that. Good evening, Bocknots80 though. Welcome along. So I was having a quick look down the pit lane. So we've got Ben Brown there. Ian Hall's in there somewhere. Ian Pinky Hall. Pinky Simulation by X-Car Car. Great to have Ian in the series. Then we've got Brad Horsnall. Is back for a bit more fun and action in the car 58. So he's driving the AMG Mercedes. Andrew Hearn, a oNiD regular, and actually one of our Enduro team drivers as well. Skid Solo Racing in the 666 McLaren. He loves a McLaren. He loves a 666. And look, as we move into qualifying, look what's happened to the weather. It is raining. So everyone is now hurriedly throwing on a wet setup and wet tyres. Here we go. Here comes the rain of Brands Hatch. Josh Cattell in the 25 Porsche. Heike van der Veen in that beautiful Red Bull KTM. Looking good, that one, sir, and carrying the logos of a different community. Oh dear, never mind. Can't win them all, can we? Petr Jelinek, another oNiD regular in the Audi. We saw Ben Brown earlier. He's heading out on track. James Wilson driving a very fetching AMG Petronas Mercedes liveried car, looking good, obviously based on the Formula 1 entry. Eric Sarek in the Aston. We've got Marek Chittil in the Porsche. Stefan Loka in an Alpine. Not always the most popular of choices, the Alpine, but he's a lovely car, so see how he gets on. Our Season host William Black is in there somewhere, driving for Johnny Crash Car. Less said about that, the better. Block knots, owned for life. Ah, indeed, sir. Oh, and Hiker, I see, just saying hello to Nightbot. That doesn't win you any favours, you know. It won't do you any harm, but it doesn't win you any favours. Grant Eckett back with us as usual. So a black and gold McLaren. That looks rather fetching, sir. Good job. Hakan Anderson in the Porsche there. I think that's the white and green car. Then we've got Andy Thorpe. Andy Thorpe already wins livery of the season, as far as I'm concerned. Based on an old British touring car championship livery from late 80s, early 90s. On the BMW, is it the E30? Whatever that one is. It's a stunning replication of that livery. It's a great job. Ben McClements, we've seen him before, and he's here with Walker's McClements car. Nice livery that we've seen something similar before. Dan Hyde, our man from Caden Casual Apex, is here with a proper Caden livery. So Dan is the man behind Caden Computers. So if you need yourself any upgrades, whether it be components or a whole new PC build, Dan's your man. And he's also pretty good on any kind of technical info and knowledge as well. Oh dear, the boss is here. Johnny Ashley with his full-on legit NASCAR livery tonight. Look at that bad boy. Are you there, Johnny?
I am.
Oh my good God! Hello, sir.
Hello.
I wasn't sure if you'd join us tonight. That's splendid. And your car is looking pretty.
It's very pretty.
How does it handle the wet?
Like a bag of shit.
Excellent. Well done. We've made it 12 minutes through tonight's stream. I was doing so well, and then Johnny rocks up, and 3 words in, he drops a swear. There you go. So there's a few cars out there struggling by the looks of it. How wet is it?
It's not that wet. It's just some people are not got their setup sorted. So I just had a my head of media try and overtake me while I was on a quick lap. It's like, yeah, thanks. Cheers for that.
I know we were watching, and I literally heard the moment where your brain just said, I can't do 2 things at once.
No, it's just an absolute brain fart.
Oh, don't you just love to hear that in somebody? But there we go. So Johnny puts himself a lap in. So yeah, Ben balked by the slower Johnny, but you know, that's tough. You got to find yourself the space out there when you are qualifying. So Marek Chittil goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 1:39.3. But I wouldn't read too much in early doors, because these times will tumble as temps come up, pressures come up, people get used to the wetter track. What was it like in practice? Was it dry or a little
It was
damp?
dry. It said the track was optimum, but it just felt really greasy, really oily. There was no grip out there. I was in it earlier on in the week, pumping in 33s in the Camaro, and I couldn't get out barely get out the 36s in practice. So yeah, it wasn't quite as expected, but this will make it interesting for sure.
Absolutely, it'll be interesting to see what it's like come race time as well. We're looking at Ian Pinky Hall right now, who's currently fastest with a 1:38.5. It's a rather fetching looking BMW as well. So at the minute it's a BMW from a Porsche, then an Audi. It's a bit of a German 1, 2, 3. And as I say that, Brad Horsnell makes it another German car at the top. This time it's a Mercedes with a 1:38.2. These times will tumble, but it is only a short qualifying session. On that subject, let's pick up Ben Brown as he crosses the line, because he goes to the top with a 1:37.5. Ben's been looking quick. We know that Ben's quick anyway, and he loves a bit of GT4 action, but he does look particularly quick tonight. So potentially my tip for pole tonight. Let's go check in on Willie Blackhammer, who is the admin for this league. So he crosses the line, puts the time in and goes 14th. Just ahead of Johnny at the minute, but I sense that Johnny has got a lot more time in him at the moment. Was that a no?
That was just a chuckle. Like, really?
So I mentioned earlier about classes. We have split the cars up into 3 classes, which is a novelty for GT4. We've done it for GT3 World Series, but here it is in GT4 as well. You've got a Pro, a Silver, and an AM category. So for those of you watching on the stream, the car numbers in white on the timing tower down the left, they're your Pros. Your silver ones, guess what? They're your silver class. And the red ones are your AMs. And at the moment, the weather is completely messing with Willie's spreadsheet because there is not an even split between them right now. Not everyone has set a time yet. It is tricky out there. Brown from Chittill, then Horsnell, Hall, Eckett, McClements, O'Brien, Jelinek, Van der Veen. Van der Veen, good lap, sir, to be up in 9th. And then Cattell rounds out your top 10. But there are big improvements out there. Pick up Dan Hyde as he comes into the final sector. He is 7/10 up on this lap. Although, let's just switch to Ben McClements because he's a little bit further around the track and he's a second up. This could move him as far as second if he maintains this, and he will do. So this is going to put him second, about 3/4 of a second. No, just a half second off of Ben. So a really big improvement from the other Ben. It's a Ben 1-2 at the moment. Willie Black 2/10 up. He's gone 9th and is looking to find a little bit more. Dan Hyde moves himself up to 8th. We've still got 4 cars that haven't actually set a time as yet. And you're absolutely right, I need to go onto the full screen. Huge apologies. that's the second stream in a row where I've done that. At least it was only qualifying and not the race. But there you go, you should have it full screen now so that you can watch these guys in all their glory. And don't forget, if there's anyone in particular you want me to pick up on, just give me a shout and we will take a look. But during qualifying, I tend to look at those that are improving the most. And right now, that's Petter Jelinek, who's around here somewhere in his Audi. Just coming up across the top and heading into that final sector. At the moment, he's 8/10 up on his current lap. That could put him 6th. If my maths are right, he's 8/10 up now. So I think this is going to go 6th. Let's see as he crosses the line. Yeah, he goes 6th with a pretty strong lap there from Petter Jelinek. But we've got Ben McClements and Marek Chittill in the silver class punching above their weight, as is Willie Black, who really should have been in Pro. He moves himself up to 6th overall. Yeah, the man's rigged his own spreadsheet, I think. Less said about that, the better. Josh Cattell, a second up on his current lap as he comes out through clearways. So 1.0 up. That could put him 7th, I think, there or thereabouts. Yes, it does. But he is the first one to complete his qualifying session, as is Heisenberg Knox, who has not set a time. So we'll start from the back of the grid. Marek Chittill is improving. He's 3/10 up, but Petter Jelinek is a massive 8/10 up at the moment, and that could move him up as high as second, actually. So Ben Brown not improving. I think he's going to be pretty good for pole right now, unless Jelinek can really pull something out of the bag in this final sector. Jelinek 8/10 up on this lap. That Audi looking good. This, I think, will put him 2nd overall. Really solid lap. We'll go check in on some of the other drivers in just a second. Let's see him across the line. Yeah, Petter Jelinek goes 2nd, 4/10 off of pole. Johnny, you're back in the pits. What happened?
I just couldn't get the wet setup sorted. It was just not very good, but I'll just wait for everyone to crash at Paddock Hill and then I'll drive on past.
That'll never happen in an oNiD league. They're always as clean as anything. Says,
oh, and it's dry, beautiful.
oh, it is dry. So the changeable conditions tonight really throwing something up in terms of fun and games for these guys. Yeah, dry practice, wet qualifying. It is a dry track, but Johnny, it says it's green. That's going to be slippy out there.
Yeah, it will be really slippy. It'll be interesting going into Paddock Hill, that's for sure. We'll just have to see how some of the cars cope with it. Oh, I think a few of them. I think, funny enough, I think the KTM will probably be better than most.
Yeah, I think Mr. Van der Veen has chosen well tonight.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Yeah, but realistically, Ben should walk away with this one. He was half a second clear in qualifying, similar amount in practice as well. You know, Ben needs to keep it out of trouble, and he could take race one. It's a 25-minute race. 2 25-minute sprints tonight around Brands Hatch. Always love the sprint race format. It keeps the field nice and bunched up together, and ready for some really solid action. Johnny, what are you expecting to achieve out of tonight, or what would you like to achieve from 18th on the grid?
Just get as far forward as I can, and try not to finish last in silver would be wonderful.
Yeah, he's a top 10 overall on the cards.
Oh, I think it's going to depend on the Camaro's not really great around here, although Willie seems to be doing all right in it. So I'm gonna have a word with him and see what he does.
And he won't tell you.
He definitely won't tell me. So it just depends on the cars in front, really. I think it's possible, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah, there is a bit of a mixed up grid to a certain extent. You certainly wouldn't expect to see Andy Hearn down in 15th, for example. I think Ian Hall has probably got a bit more pace in 6th as well. So yeah, I think the weather may have just mixed things up a little bit. Do you run a full dry setup for a green track, or will you tweak it slightly?
No, I'll just go with my dry setup, I think.
Nice.
Just maybe up the TC a little bit because it's going to be a green track. So just see how we go from there, really.
And of course, we now wish you luck, because this is the formation lap, and we would not want anything ill to happen on the formation lap, would we? Rydav is already taking odds on Johnny binning it.
Is that Mr. Davis from the Rookie League? Thank you.
Ralph Fest is here as well, just saying hello, good evening. Optrix Gaming, let's go! Couldn't agree with you more. I've been looking forward to this one. Getting going with the GT4s. If I can locate my mouse, that would make things a lot easier. There we go. Let's just take a quick look at the overall schedule whilst these guys are on their formation lap. We start tonight at Brands Hatch, and then next week it's on to Silverstone. The following week it's Donington Park, then it's Alton Park on the 22nd of Feb, Snetterton, good luck to everyone there, on the 1st of March, and then all of those are 2 25-minute races, and then we finish off the season on the 8th of March with one 45-minute race back here at Brands Hatch. This is the SimRace247.com British GT4 series live here at oNiD Racing. If you're new to us, onidracing.com, hit the join Discord button. We turn 1 year old on Friday this week with a big grid race on Friday. And not just that, but we are rapidly heading towards 1,000 members. There's an outside chance we could hit the 1,000 on our 1 year birthday, which would just be absolutely incredible. So if you know anyone in the world of sim racing, thank you Optrix Gaming for the follow. If you know anyone who's into sim racing, get them to join our Discord in the next couple of days. We would love to hit that 1,000 before our first year is out. But it remains for me to say, Johnny, good luck. We'll We'll check in with you during the race. And Josephine, thank you for the follow as well. So these guys getting themselves ready, coming down towards Clearways now. They will have been braking hard, and Erin Hegarty with the follow as well. Gotta love all these follows. Great to see. We will stay with Helicam for the beginning of this race. We will keep an eye on what's going on as much as we can. We're waiting for those green lights, and then Ben will take us away. Hopefully they've got temps in their tyres and pressures. But Ben makes a decent start. But Petr Jelinek much quicker away. But Ben holds the inside line and takes us through turn 1. It is slippery out there. There's a Merc struggling a few places back. We'll check in on who that was in just a moment. But everyone seems to be relatively safely through. Let's just check a little bit further back through the field. Everyone reasonably behaving themselves. It looked like Andy Hearn just having a couple of bumps with somebody there. But fairly well behaved at the minute. And Ben Brown leads us away on lap 1 here at Brands Hatch. We'll wait for a little bit later around the lap to give you the order in its entirety. In fact, we can do that now. Ben Brown leads from Petr Jelinek, Marek Chittil, Ben McClements, Ian Hall, Brad Horsnell, Willie Black, Josh Cattell, Andy Thorpe, and Craig Fairweather. That's your top 10. Ben Brown building a bit of a gap already, but Chittil trying to get up the inside of Jelinek, and Jelinek is off. Petr Jelinek in the gravel. Just ran himself out of road, unfortunately, and that is our second place man. As we see contact further down the field, that is car 115 going round and round. I can't see who that was actually, so it might have been 105. It was indeed car 105. Back to the front though, and Ben Brown has himself a huge lead as he crosses the line. He does lap 1. And Chittil is 3 seconds further back at the end of lap 1. He has Ian Hall with him for company, but Ian now runs a bit deep through paddock. And it looks to me like Willie Black is the one trying to make a move. He's up the inside. Oh, and Willie Black into the back of another car. That's not the first time this week that we've seen Willie hit somebody from behind. But just as he tried to get himself up the inside of Ben McClements, there was an AMG Mercedes. I think that was Brad Horsnell in the way, and Brad's still at Druids trying to recover from that one. So yeah, Willie might have some questions from the stewards later on this week. As we see now, I think that was Andy Thorpe going round. There is a car in the middle of the track on the exit Graham Hill. He's trying to find a safe place to turn around, and finally does it. The cars are struggling out there in these green conditions. It may be 29 degrees somehow out there, but the track is still green from the wet weather in qualifying, and that is proving to be an issue. There's more contact a little further back. We saw a Ginetta going sideways. I fear that might have been Dan Hyde. We're trying to find Dan. He's in there somewhere. No, he's still fine. He's still going. He's behind Petr Jelinek now. But there was a Ginetta going sideways at one moment, so it must have been Dan, because he's the only Ginetta out there. Back in with our leader, 3.7 clear now. Ben can just cruise. He just needs to keep it out of trouble, and he is in good shape. Let's check in even with Johnny. He is up to 11th, so you've avoided some of the carnage then, sir.
Yeah, just a bit of sensible driving really. Got myself back into a decent position. Like I said, avoid the carnage. Not as quick as the guys in front of me, but as long as I can defend my position, I'll still be looking for a top 10, which would be nice, which was unexpected at the start of the race. So.
And how green is green?
Yeah, it's pretty green. I think it's catching a lot of people out. That's why we've seen a little bit of carnage. But yeah, I think it's affecting the brakes and the tyres more than anything else.
Absolutely right. We'll check back in with you a little bit later on. Thank you very much. That's Johnny Ashley, who, for those of you who don't know, he's the big boss man round here at oNiD Racing. As we see a battle between Josh Cattell and Grant Eckett. Eckett just running a little bit wide, but Josh sizing up the rear end of Wally Black's big old NASCAR there. Looking for a way past him as well as defending from Grant. Oh, good evening, Beef. Welcome along. Great to see you in the chat tonight. Josh just trying to spot where Willie's weaknesses are. Willie, not an easy driver to get past when you need to. Ben Brown, imperious out front, 4.4 clear. But this is probably the closest battle in the field right now. It's for second. Marek Chittil ahead of Ian Pinky Hall in the 87 car. Those two have been close together already in this race, but then Ian ran a bit deep at Paddock, but he has caught him back up, and you'd say that that BMW is quicker at this moment in time. Sean O'Brien picks himself up a drive-through. That's unfortunate at this stage of the race. I mean, that takes some doing at this stage of the race as well, actually. Anyone would have thought that was Dave Zalecki standing in there, but not tonight. Dave's on his honeymoon. I'm sure he will be enjoying himself wherever he is. But Marek is potentially not enjoying himself because he has a mirror full of BMW. At least it's the slightly more attractive old BMW rather than the big old Nasher teeth new style. As Sarek takes to the pits down in 20th. And there are battles up and down the field, but we are keeping our eyes on this one because it is for second. Strikes me that Ian's a little bit quicker through the Indy part of the Brands Hatch track, which for those of you who don't know Brands too well is this part here and through until they turn left up onto the long straight. It's the short track, the Indy, which takes in Paddock and Druids and Graham Hill, and just loops around Clearways. Marek running a little bit wide, touching a bit of gravel, then immediately switches to the defence. So Ian goes to the outside. Chittil with some really solid defensive driving there. Ian keeping him honest though. Oh, there is contact now, unfortunately. Ian just maybe misjudges the braking ever so slightly, but both of them have got away with it, and Chittil continues on in second. Ben McClements trying to join this and make it into a three-way, but they are joined together at the bumpers at the moment. And which one has the ponies down the long straight? As Hall moves towards the outside, Chittil again on the defensive, holding that inside line, staying in the middle now as you take the two sweeping right-handers. Ian Hall needs to find a way through because Ben McClements is right with them. That is not a place to overtake, and he backs out of it quite sensibly. These three now all together for second. This is Chittil, Hall and McClements. Your leader, Ben Brown, is now the best part of 9 seconds clear of the field. A staggering drive from Ben so far. Sean O'Brien's night goes from bad to worst as he picks up a SG30 while serving his drive-through. Oh, always nice to have you here, Lega. Thank you for that. Adam D sucks. Yeah, much appreciated. Lega sucks even more. There you go. That's my riposte to that one. But welcome, sir. Not heard from you for a while, so good to have you here. As Ian Hall, I almost called him Ian Brown there, that's a very different person. Ian Hall tries a move into Druids. Much love indeed, Lega. Hope you're well. And if I could borrow one of your Leggers, I would I'd much appreciate it right now. At least then I could be back racing. But we are watching the battle for second. McClements has dropped back off this one a little bit. But Grant Eckett is coming now as well. Ian Hall tucks into the slipstream. Under the Bridge of Doom. Looking for a way past in the two fast right-handers. But it's always tricky to do there. I mean, your overtaking spots are fairly limited here. Holds a better line through the second right-hander. They go through Dingledale and up over the top now. Certainly not going to be making a move there. But he's thinking about ascending to the next left. You're going to have to get that pinpoint accurate, and he does. That's a great move up the inside by Ian Hall, but I'm not sure he's got enough of an overlap into clearways. Yes, he does. That's a very, very good move from Ian Hall. Well set up, and Chittil works with him to make that one work very nicely indeed. Thank you for the follow, Altroots. Welcome along to oNiD Racing. Let's pick up some other action as James Wilson has Andy Hearn all over the back of him. Andy, another one of those drivers recovering from the wet qualifying, has got himself up into 9th from, I think, 15th on the grid. He's now looking for a way past that very nicely coloured number 7 Mercedes. Oof. Leggy, you've opened a can of worms there by asking what I've done to my leg. I've broken 5 bones in my right foot. Good sir. In for surgery on Thursday, so yeah, hopefully we'll be on the mend after that. But for now, no racing for me and plenty of talking behind the mic instead. So this one just opening up a little bit again. Let's go check in on Heike van der Veen, who's driving the Red Bull KTM. Very fetching livery. And he's passed by Andy Thorpe. Thorpe we saw backwards after Graham Hill Bend on, I think, lap 2. So he's trying to work his way back through. Johnny has dropped to 14th. What's occurring?
Up at Paddock Hill.
Simple answer to a simple question. But there we go. So Johnny with a little bit of recovery to do. Unfortunately, the qualifying determines the grid for both races, doesn't it? So you'll be starting fairly low down for race 2 as well.
I will indeed, but hey ho.
Indeed. Well, at least GT4s are fun to drive, so
yeah,
you
that's
can
true.
have that at least. Now, Marek Chittil was actually sizing up for a move on Ian Hall there. Didn't get it done, but what that has now done is he's dropped him back into the clutches of Grant Eckett. Grant having a superb drive. He was a little bit lower down the grid than you would have expected, but he's recovering through nicely. He's got himself past Ben McClements, and he is the next one to take a look at the Porsche of Chittil. But naughty, naughty Grant. No need for flashing the lights. Excessive flashing is not allowed in the oNiD rules. But never mind. Grant's normally such a good boy as well. But here he comes, really starting to have a good look at Chittil. And no, you're not supposed to kick a medicine ball, Lego. You're absolutely right. I didn't. Unfortunately, I slipped off a curb in the ice and landed all of my weight onto my right foot, which went underneath me. So yeah, 5 metatarsals broken and 2 of them into the joints as well. So, oh, and a broken ligament as well, snapped or whatever it is. So it's all good. As we see Grant really starting to make a move now on Chittil. Not quite enough of an overlap into paddock, but he will be looking for somewhere else on the track to get that move done. You can see in the background, McClements is there in 5th. Cattell is 6th. James Wilson 7th. Willie Black in 8th. And Andrew Hearn in 9th. Willie starting to struggle a little bit with Andrew filling his mirrors. And Willie now runs a bit deep. But manages to hold the blue and green Mercedes behind him for now. Andy Hearn looking to recover from a difficult qualifying. Got himself up to 9th, which is 5th in class. Your class leaders at this moment in time are Ben Brown in Pro. As we see Willie Black off, and that is a big off as well. He's managed to keep it out of the barriers. Let's see if we can pick up a replay of that one, because I was looking at the timing tower at the time. He got himself on the grass, and that was all she wrote. So Willie Black into the gravel. And we'll see in a moment where it pops him back out on the track. Ben Brown must be thoroughly bored. Almost 15 seconds clear at the front now. Ouch. But yeah, Ben looking absolutely imperious so far tonight. Eckett has got past into third now. So apologies that we missed that. It was probably Willie's fault whilst we were watching him drop it into the gravel. But yes, Grant Eckett up into third now. And Chittle wants to be a little bit careful that Ben McClements doesn't come up behind him, because Chittle is the class leader in silver. So, you know, whilst it wasn't a huge problem for him, for Hall and Eckett to get past, it would be a problem if McClements got past him. You're right, Legger, I should be more careful, but hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Funnily enough, I've spent the last 2 weeks thinking that over and over again. But yeah, hopefully we're on the mend, and we'll be back in the seat very, very soon, I'm sure. Now, Johnny Ashley has got the attentions of Andy Thorpe right behind him. Let's take a look at this one. Andy in the Pro class. And Johnny in silver. Johnny might just be thinking more about how he can close that 7.5 gap to Willie Black in front of him. Willie being his arch rival, of course. And here comes Andy Thorpe in that beautiful Listerine BMW. Moving to the outside. A little bit of contact into clearways. Nothing major, just a bit of door banging, exactly what you'd expect to see on a British track here. Johnny staying ahead. In battling with Andy, he has dropped a second on Willie on that last lap. As we move a little bit further forward now to the battle between Cattell and Wilson. Just half a second between those two. There's only 4/10 between McClements and... Oh, hang on, Eckett. Eckett down to 5th. So Eckett must have had a difficult moment, and he is down in 5th now. So all that hard work to get himself up to 3rd, and here he is back down to 5th. Our lead gap extends to over 15 seconds now, and we've got 7.5-ish minutes left of this race, with one more 25-minute race to come after this one. Your class leader in AM, by the way, is Heike van der Veen in that Red Bull KTM. Doing a really solid job again tonight. And that KTM might have been a good choice for Brands Hatch, especially with the wet qualifying earlier and the green track earlier. It does now say that the track is in fast state, so it's not quite optimum, but it is certainly improving from green where it was at the beginning of this race. So Eckett back ahead of McClements. Let's see if we can pick that up on a replay, shall we? I'm not sure. No, we can't. The move had already been done. But we're now going to watch 30 seconds of these two just pootling around before we can get back to the live action. So for anyone just joining us, welcome along. This is the simrace247.com British GT4 series. As you can tell, sponsored by our friends at simrace247.com. That is the home of sim racing news. Anything you want to know about sim racing, you will find it on there. So Eckett will now set about chasing down Marek Chittil once again to see if he can get himself back up into 3rd. Johnny, you seem to have settled yourself into 14th now. Andy Thorpe's dropped back from you. You don't seem to be closing up on Willie, so is it just a bring it home from here now?
Yeah, well, I realised I was actually defending from Andy, and I shouldn't have been because he's a pro. I didn't realise he was a pro driver. So Andy had a bit of an off at Paddock Hill, but yeah, I'm nowhere near as quick as the rest of the pack in front of me. So I'm just kind of pootling around now. I need to do some tweaks to my car for the second race.
Well, we will not interrupt you between races so that you can focus on getting that very pretty little Chevy up and going for race 2. Chittle and Eckett getting a lot closer together once again. Someone's destroyed one of the polystyrene barriers halfway up the straight. Well done for that. And some of these guys now starting to come into some traffic. That is the Alpine of Stefan Locker in front. And, he gets himself nicely out of the way. As we look to see whether Eckett can close up and retake that position. Wilson and Cattell still together. The position has swapped over. But Wilson looking for a move up the inside. And that one doesn't work. There is contact between the two, unfortunately. Caught live on stream. And yeah, James just heads off down the road. So he must feel like he hadn't really done anything wrong in that one. Craig Fairweather now gets a sniff at Cattell as a result. Doesn't look like there was a lot of damage picked up as a result, but yeah, it was well, the incident panel will have a look at those replays in detail, I'm sure, and determine who was at fault from that. We couldn't see enough to make a call on that. And also we tend not to make a call on it unless it's something completely blatantly obvious, because that's what we have an instant panel for. So let's just have a look at some of the other cars out there. Petter Jelinek, you've got to feel sorry for him, down in 12th. Second on the grid. But yeah, I think he was the one who dropped it just after Dingledell on lap 1. Not a good place to be on lap 1. And he's tried to fight his way back through, but he's carrying some damage to that Audi. Still looking if he can pick up a couple of spots towards the end though. The field just spreading out a little bit as we come into the last 2 or 3 minutes of this race. But don't worry, because we get to go again in just a minute. As soon as this one's finished, we'll head straight into race 2, which is another 25-minute sprint. These guys will go hard at it once again. As we see Cattell across the line with Fairweather right behind him. And this is the battle that's brewing. This is Chittle with Eckett once again. So Eckett is determined to get that 3rd place back and then try not to drop it again. Or whatever happened. We didn't actually see what happened. But he fought his way up from a difficult qualifying all the way up to 3rd. But then all of a sudden was 5th. Now, if Chittle was sensible, he might just let Eckett go here because they are running in different classes. But something tells me that Chittle might want the overall podium. And, well, to a certain extent, who can blame him? But where his points are going to come from is by staying ahead of Ben McClements in 5th, because that is the battle for the win in silver class. Hey, we're all racers, and we probably don't see it that way all the time, do we? There has been a change of position a little further back, so Fairweather has got ahead of Cattell. And then you've got Hearn, Horsnell and Anderson all together as well. Or maybe Anderson a little bit further back, but Horsnell recovering from hey, Willie Lovetap earlier on in the race. He's trying to get himself up past Andy Hearn. But let's go check back in on that battle for 3rd. Depending on how far around the track Ben is, we might squeeze one more lap in after this. If not, this could be the final lap. I think it's going to be pretty close. Here is the Porsche of Marek Chittil with Grant Eckett's black and gold McLaren right behind him. 4/10 in it, but Chittil runs very, very wide out through Sterling's. Manages to keep it on the grey stuff, but Eckett is closer as a result. Not a huge difference in speed between these two in a straight line on this occasion. And no way through there. So where can Eckett do it? Question is Ben Brown going to cross the line? No, he's not. So this is your final lap. Ben Brown flashes his lights as he takes the win. A huge win for Ben Brown. Absolute domination tonight so far. Let's see if he can repeat it in race 2. I'm going to say that Petr Jelinek could be a lot closer to him. But and a flash of lights from Ian Hall as well. Good job, Ian. Taking a second. Marek Chittil is just about holding on to third overall. But more importantly, he is our winner in silver. Eckett takes third in his class and fourth overall. Ben McClement second in silver. Then you've got Wilson ahead of Fairweather. Then Cattell, Andy Hearn, Brad Horsnall, Hakan Anderson, Petr Jelinek, poor old Petr. Willie Black crosses the line 13th. Andy Thorpe is going to come home 14th. Another unfortunate night for him. Johnny Ashley coming home in 15th. There we go. He crosses the line now. Dan Hyde is 16th in the Ginetta. Heike van der Veen, though, takes the win in Am. Great job, Heike. Well done. Heisenberg Knox has already finished, as has Locker. We're just waiting for Eric Sarek. And he is coming out the final corner now. Oh, and Sean O'Brien. Sean O'Brien yet to finish as well. Sean finishes, and there's Sarek. That's it. Everyone through the line to finish the race. Great job, everyone. Some great racing in that one. Heike, yes effing way. You just won yourself Am class once again. Good job, that man. Well done. It's becoming a bit of a regularity for you now. So, yeah, congrats. But this is your winner. Ben Brown, your overall winner with a huge margin. I think it was about 17, 18 seconds in the end. So, great job, Ben. See if you can repeat it in race 2. So for anyone just joining us, welcome to oNidracing.com and to the fantastic SimRace247.com British GT4 series. This is round 1 at Brands Hatch. 2 25-minute races. We've just seen race 1, won by Ben Brown. We're about to head into race 2. Same grid as the last race. Hopefully the beginning might be a touch easier for drivers because the track is no longer green. It is now in fast state. It's not optimum though, so it's still going to be a touch greasy out there in places, but hopefully life should be a little easier for our drivers on lap 1 compared to last time. Johnny, have you made loads of changes?
Yeah, I've made quite a few changes actually.
Did you know what you were doing, or did you just click random stuff?
No, it was things like my steering ratio was a little bit off, so that was causing me to oversteer into corners, damaging the tyres. I just put a bit more rear wing on it. And and just adjusting my pressures a little bit. So hopefully that'll help in this race.
Excellent. Well, good luck. Keep yourself out of trouble on the warm-up lap. Hey. And hope you have a stronger race this time around. We are about to head on to another formation lap. So hello again to those of you in chat. Plenty of you with us tonight. Great to see you here, enjoying these races hopefully. As you see the cars heading off to start another warm-up lap. This is the final race of the night then. 25 minutes of Brands Hatch GP circuit. Let's make sure you're full screen right from the off this time. Ben Brown leading us away. Let's just drop to the back of the field as well. Always good to pick up on everyone all the way through the field. So Heisenberg Knox, who unfortunately for him didn't get a lap time in qualifying, therefore starting from the back. But do you know what? Probably not a disastrous place to start around Brands Hatch and keep yourself out of trouble. So as they come down the hill now through Graham Hill Bend at the back of the field, the front of the field already a lot further round the track, most of the way down the back straight under the bridge. Big nod saying VDV FTW, VDV FTW indeed. And making a habit of it, as Rydav points out. And do you know what, Hiker? The thing is, the more you race, the more you do this, the better you will get. So, you know, fair play to you, doing plenty of racing at the moment with us, and it's paying off. You get some really good results. So, keep it clean, keep it off the grass, and this is what happens. So, well done. Amy Thorpe's watching and says, Team 12, go Dad. So, I don't know, is that car number 12? Maybe we've got car number 12? Or is there a... Oh, yes, of course, Andy Thorpe. There you go. We both got the surname Thorpe, so it makes sense. Yeah, Andy, your dad unfortunately had a tough race one after a spin on lap 2. Either he did it himself or was helped into it, we don't know. But hopefully he can go a little bit better this time around. So we will stay with the Helicam, as always, for the first couple of corners, so that we can keep a good view of what's going on. A few drivers out there, as we see somebody taking to the pits already, and you won't be able to get into. Pit lane is closed. That is Josh Cattell. We're waiting for the green light. There it is. So Ben Brown makes a good start again. Petr Jelinek going with him again. And it all looks a little bit more serene into turn 1 this time around. Just looking further back through the field, and yeah, I don't see anyone spearing off into the scenery just yet. But let's have a little look a bit further down the field just in case. No, all looks okay to me right now. So everyone through safely. Ben Brown leads just as he did last time around. Petr Jelinek going with him once again. Well, let's hope that Petr can keep it on the black stuff all the way through lap 1 this time around. Now, Ben didn't get much camera time last time around because he was so far ahead. But let's take a look at the car 22. Fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying, fastest lap in the race, race one. If he can win race 2 and take the fastest lap in this race as well, that will be your grand slam for Ben Brown. And he's certainly leading away nicely at the moment. So let's just take a little drop further back for some action. Everyone nose to tail early on in this race. We're watching Brad Horsnell in the AMG Mercedes. Sideways out of clearways. Ian Hall then gets to the outside of him. Had to avoid the sliding Merc, but also might just find his way through, and he does. So Ian Hall moves up a spot into 5th ahead of Brad Horsnell. That Mercedes looking a little bit of a handful. Willie Black is 7th with Andy Thorpe right behind him. As we see, that looks to me like Dan Hyde having a moment. Yes, and tucks back in behind Johnny Ashley. Let's see what happened to Dan. He dropped it all by himself coming out of turn 1. But nice and safe with his rejoin, so slots back in behind Johnny. So there is a real pack forming through the middle here. Maybe Ian Hall just getting away from it a little bit. Brad Horsnell there with Willie Black right behind, then Andy Thorpe, Grant Eckett. And then you've got Fairweather a little bit off that pack. So it's really those 4 right together. Eckett to the inside of Black and gets that one done. That's a difficult place to make a move work, but he did it. Let's take a look at a replay. He moves to the inside and Willie doesn't make it too difficult for him, and through goes Grant, but then runs very wide on exit. But positions stay as they are. Again, Willie wouldn't have fought him too hard because they're in different classes. Good evening, Joe. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to James Wilson actually, but he's having an unfortunate night. He had a difficult race 1, a few scrapes here and there, and he's found himself right down the order already. As we see 2 cars off in the gravel, Eisenberg Knox being one of them, and Eric Sarek being the other one. So I was just about to say that Heike van der Veen has got his work cut out in this race because he was going to have to pass Knox and Sarek, and they do the job for him. So Heike van der Veen back into the lead. And what has happened to Petr Jelinek? Oh, we've got cars off everywhere. That looks to me like Johnny Ashley facing the wrong direction. It is. So let's pick up a replay of this. So Johnny coming out of Druids now. There's a car off track up ahead. Let's come back on safely. Johnny now through Graham Hill. There's a car off on the right hand side. Oh, Eckett spins and there's carnage. Absolute carnage. 4 cars involved there. Andy Hearn, one of them. Johnny Ashley, another one. Eckett started it all off. And there was another car involved as well. So we've got some real carnage down there, and in and amongst all of that as well, Petr Jelinek has dropped himself down to 7th. There is no such thing as a dull GT4 race, as we see McClements and Horsnell now side by side heading into turn 1. McClements does the sensible thing and lets Horsnell go. I say sensible because they're in different classes. McClements' race is really with Chittill directly behind him in that yellow Porsche. He has now invited Chittill right onto his rear bumper, but he will try and follow the slightly quicker Horsnell at this moment in time. Ben Brown is your fastest car on track once again. And I spoke too soon about Heike van der Veen, didn't I? He was another one caught up in that incident, I think. He is in the pits, so yeah, it's now actually Stefan Loka in the blue Alpine that leads the AM class. Will just try and keep himself. No, he doesn't. No, they can't decide who wants to win AM. It's now Eric Sarek back in the lead of AM. That's going to be one to keep up with, isn't it, tonight? So let's switch back to Chittill. He's in the middle of this pack. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to jump on board with Craig Fairweather and see the view of the back of this pack as they head around the track just ahead of Willie Black. I'm doing it again. Johnny, I don't know if you're still with us, but that looked pretty unfortunate for you, that situation.
Yeah, it's just people don't hold their brakes when they're in an incident. You just car come across, cut out 2 cars, and took avoiding action, but it's been wet. The grass is still slippy. I had to take to the grass, and just that was the end of that really. But got in, got the repairs done. Only 20 seconds of repairs, so I'm back out, and I'm not last in silver, so let's go.
Yeah, Andy Hearn also involved in that incident, and he's still in the pits. So no, you're not going to finish last in silver unless you go and do something silly. So yeah, fingers crossed you can find something out of tonight. Let's just switch back to Stefan Locker here, because he's now right back up with Eisenberg Knox as they head into the GP part of the circuit. This is a battle for second in class, second in AM, and the Alpine has the run on Knox down the straight under the bridge. You can hear the Audi there to the right, and the Audi is quicker in a straight line, so holds the position. So we will keep an eye on that battle going forward. Andy Thorpe now side by side with Ben McClements and gets past. Andy Thorpe now up into 4th overall, and we'll be looking to see if he can set about chasing down Brad Horsnell. I see VDV got hit from behind, apparently. Unfortunate for Hiker. So this pack snakes their way through the Indy part of the circuit and out onto the GP by swinging a left. Dan Hyde takes the pits. So I think, Johnny, you might just make yourself up another silver place here, because Dan's in the pits. Ben Brown continues to lead. Gap is 5.7, so it's not quite the walk in the park that it was last time, but it's still pretty straightforward for him. Let's go check in on our race leader as he comes out of Graham Hill. No, that's not his. Sorry, he's heading down towards Clearways. I tell you what, let's take a ride on board for a lap with our race leader, so you can see how it's done around Brands Hatch. There we are, that's a lap of Brands Hatch there with our leader Ben Brown. Let's just see what his time is across the line. He puts himself in a 1:33.1, which is really solid pace at this time of the race. Let's go pick up on some battles through the pack. James Wilson, I think, has just made himself up a spot. He's ahead of Grant Eckett. McClements and Jelinek side by side into turn 1. So McClements has dropped behind Chittil. So Chittil is now your new leader in silver. Jelinek starting to recover from that difficult beginning to the race. and gets himself ahead of the Walker's machine. Which looks a little twitchy in places. But this battle for the final step on the podium is heating up. We said that Andy Thorpe would be looking to try and close the gap to Brad Horsnell, and he has done so. It's down to 0.4 of a second as we approach half distance in race 2, our final race of the night. So just under 13 minutes to go in this one. And this is your battle for the final step on the podium, both in class and overall. Horsnell versus Thorpe, Mercedes versus BMW. And at the moment, you'd have to say Thorpe looks a little quicker. And he really has closed that gap in a fairly short time. But as the great Murray Walker used to say, catching is one thing, passing is another. And that's the job that Andy Thorpe has to do now. Gap down to 0.3 as he gets a little sideways through paddock, but Horsnell actually runs a touch deep, so it kind of balances out, and they're about where they were. Up through Druids, and now they'll drop down the hill to what used to be called Bottom Bend, but it's now Graham Hill Bend. Actually, Brad has just gapped him a little bit on this lap. So Johnny has got himself ahead of Dan Hyde as well, who took to the pits, and he's now looking for a way past some of the AM class drivers. So, oh, in fact, that looks like Dan Hyde directly in front of him. But Johnny, is that Dan in front of you, but a lap down?
It is, mate. Yeah.
That's all right then. And in the gravel. Yeah, that was the sound of Johnny about to say, "Watch the rejoin." I know that sound.
In not so many words, but yeah.
Just don't forget you're on the stream. James Wilson holding off Grant Eckett here. That is down to 0.1 of a second. That battle. Let's check back in on Horsnell versus Thorpe. Thorpe closing back up again after dropping back a little at the start of the previous lap. But it's back to that sort of 0.3 of a second gap that it was before. So the BMW looming large in the mirrors of the very dark green and white Mercedes of Brad Horsnell for Horsepower Racing. Andy Thorpe with that stunning BTCC tribute livery gets a little bit squirrely on the curbs on the inside of Druids. Gets away with it. Gap has opened up again a little bit as a result though. Check back on Wilson and Eckett because Eckett's up the inside into Druids and gets that one done. Let's go back a little way to see how he set that one up. So this is them. This is a replay. This is Eckett on the back of Wilson. Moves to the inside for Paddock Hill Bend. Not quite close enough, but Wilson then runs deep. Eckett stays to the inside. And that's how he engineered the space into Druids. Druids is a tricky place to get a move done. But he'd made the space by getting it all right through paddock. Back live now, and Horsnell and Thorpe close again. 0.3 the gap again. So Thorpe is not letting Horsnell get away, and in fact this is the closest he's been all race, I think, now to Brad's rear end. Tucks into the slipstream across the grid then. Across the stripe, and he is almost alongside, but to the outside for Paddock. Now tries to switch back towards the inside for Druids, but not quite close enough to pull off the switcheroo. He had to get on the brakes hard though to get out of that move. Horsnell having to go defensive now, and that is going to slow the pair of them up. They're not really under any threat from behind. Chittill is 5 seconds off them and is in a different class altogether. Fairweather the next one in the pro class, and he's a further second back from Chittill. So these guys can battle without worrying too much about what's directly behind. Check in with Willie Black. he is 9th. And he's about to be passed by Grant Eckett, and he will let Grant go because they're in different classes. Yep, there he goes. So Grant will now swing past Willie. Willie with the great team name Johnny Crashcart. Horsenall's still holding off Thorpe. We momentarily had a yellow flag there, but it's gone in, so it can't mean anything too serious. But here comes Thorpe once again, looming large. This is looking back from Horsenall's car in 3rd. But Andy Thorpe. Andy looks like he can get that car turned in a lot easier. That Merc is a superb GT4 car, but unless you get the setup bang on, it is a real understeery boat, in the words of Tom Stocks. But that suits some people. That's why I always go for the Merc in GT4. Absolutely my favourite car in this class of racing. So stable. BMW is a very different car indeed, but at the moment looks a little quicker than Brad Horsenall's AMG. But Brad just pulling away slightly on this lap. So Wilson ahead of Black now. Willie will be more concerned about Anderson closing up behind him, because that is all in silver class as we head back to the trackside cameras now. Oh, as James Wilson runs wide, Willie's alongside him, and see, Willie doesn't really want to go past him because they're in different classes, but at the same time, he's got to be really careful with that closing Porsche behind him, and Anderson will be sniffing Irishman right now because he is getting closer. And Willie runs very wide into the gravel, so Anderson gets even closer, and Willie has to go very defensive now. That white and green Porsche, looming large, lights are ablaze. Easy for me to say. But Willie just gaps him a little bit through Graham Hill. Another yellow flag out there. It's just around the corner from here, so I think somebody's just had an off. But oh, now we've got a white flag, so there is a slow car on track somewhere. Probably a car getting back up to speed after an incident. That looks to me like it might be Marek Chittil that has dropped down a little. Grant Eckett's ahead of him. Where's James Wilson? There he is, just ahead of Willie. So Brad just seemingly holding that gap a bit more steady at 8-9 tenths to Andy Thorpe now. Let's check in on your class leaders. So Ben Brown leads Pro Class, as he has done all night. Ben McClements continues to lead in silver. He's car number 48. That's the red Aston Martin there. And Eric Sarek leads AM class right now in the 105 Aston. What that means is that we've currently got Astons winning all 3 classes. So back with that battle for 3rd. Although as I say that, we're now going to go take a look at the fact that Anderson has got ahead of Willie Black. So let's take a replay, see if we can see what happened. Willie runs very wide at paddock. And Anderson breezes past up the inside. He's passed him before they even get to Druids. So Willie Black drops a position as a result. And Anderson is through. So, back with the live action now. Willie will be now looking to see if he can close the gap back up and get back on terms with Anderson. Andy Thorpe has been gathering his thoughts and closing back up on Horsnell once again. That one is down to 4/10. Make that even less because Horsnell runs very deep at Druids. Andy keeps that tight line. And that one now looks more like the 3/10 to me that it was a little while ago. Yeah, it's 3.5 the gap, but it looks even closer now as Thorpe continues to close that gap. You can see that Listerine BMW getting closer and closer and closer. I think Fairweather and McClements are pretty close together as well. They are, but that's not a class battle, so let's stick with these two for third. This is a battle for your overall podium. For anyone just joining us, this is the simrace247.com British GT4 Series Championship, whatever it is, here on oNiD Racing. Thank you to our title sponsor for this league, simrace247.com, and of course our league partners, sim-stuff.com, Caden Computers, and simracing.gp. The Horsnell is even closer now. He feinted a move in towards Clearways. Wasn't quite close enough, but we're looking backwards from Horsnell's AMG at that BMW. Not quite close enough to try anything into Druids. And that AMG drives off the corner really nicely. I think that's going to be the BMW's problem. Is getting the drive of the getting the drive the same as the AMG out of the corners. He certainly looks quicker into and through the corners. On traction, that AMG looks absolutely superb. And the gap opens up again. Let's head back to Marek Chittle because he has some attention from behind from Mr. Anderson. Anderson on the move, having got past Willie Black a couple of laps ago. He's now got himself ahead of Wilson and is now setting about his fellow Porsche driver Marek Chittle. That's important because that's for second in silver class. Chittle running a little wide across the crest. We are on to the final lap now, so Ben has started his final lap. These guys have got one more to go after Clearways, but Chittle runs a touch wide. But let's go check in on Horsnell and Thorpe, because Thorpe once again right with him, but can't quite get past this time around. So let's check on Chittle and Anderson. Wilson looking to get stuck in on this one as well. But the two Porsches are the ones that are battling for points here. If Wilson makes any places up against these two, he doesn't gain any points from it. He might as well just sit back and enjoy the action like we are. Chittle continues to hold that one. Let's go back to Horsnell and Thorpe. This is your battle for third overall, and they are coming into some traffic now. So they have, I think that is Heisenberg Knox ahead of them, who gets right out of the way. Good job. Dan Hyde is next up for them. Ben Brown, I think he's about to win this one. He's about to cross the line. Not quite as dominant as the last race, but he is going to get the Grand Slam. The fastest in every session. and taking the win. So well done, Ben. We're staying with this one as Ian Hall is going to cross the line for second. He does. And Horsnell is going to hold on to third from Andy Thorpe. But good battle between those two. Nicely fought. Petty Jelinek has recovered to 5th. Craig Fairweather is 6th. Ben McClement 7th. Grant Eckett 8th. Marek Chittle. He's safe from Anderson because Wilson has got past Anderson. But Marek Chittle is going to cross the line to finish second in class because Ben McClements has won the silver class this time around. Wilson across the line, and Anderson and Black, and that is just about your lot. So, Johnny, any final words from you? How was tonight?
Second race was a lot better. Couldn't do well. Apart from the incident, the car felt better. So I know what to do for the next race and get that set up nicely. I think I would have been kind of in and around Willie in race 2 if I hadn't been part of that incident. So, but yeah, it's good racing. GT4 is always fun. Makes you sweat. It's a bit like a touring car that you just want to throw about a bit of door banging. Yeah, it's good fun.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm gutted to be missing GT4s this season. It's always a good crack. I'm just trying to pull Ben in here for a chat because the man has had a dominant night. So it'd be good to have a chat with him. And here he is, Ben.
Good evening.
That, sir, is what I call a Grand Slam. Fastest in practice, pole, fastest lap in race 1, 1 race 1, fastest lap in race 2, 1 race 2. Grand Slam, job done, too easy. We need a Ben class as well.
I wouldn't say it was too easy. I think you might have noticed that Ian was pretty quick, and he just started. He started further back. I think if he'd have been alongside me on the grid because of the beamer off the line, I think he would have got me, and then it would have made it really interesting. So, but yeah, really happy with that. That was really fun. So, I like the Aston now. It's really good at that track apparently.
Was it not at all boring?
If you can ever be bored driving a car flat out around Brands for an hour, then then maybe. But no, it was still fun. Obviously, hopefully, going forward to have some more action, and I'm sure we will do in the next couple of races. I think the Aston was just very, very good at Brands.
How tricky was it switching from a dry practice to a wet qualifying to a greasy green track at the start to an improving track all the way through the night and keeping on top of your pace in those changing conditions?
It's definitely, yeah, really appreciate that one. Yeah, that makes it a lot more interesting. I think I didn't really enjoy the wet too much. I don't think I'd have been as quick, but it was nice because obviously you saw the pace in the first race and the second race. It obviously came a long way because the track really ramped up. So it always makes it a bit more interesting when all 4 of the sessions are totally different, rather than just having static weather and conditions and everything all the way through, which is that's just too easy, isn't it? That's not the oNiD way.
It's not
be mixing it up.
It's definitely not the Willie Black way when it comes to setting up a league either. I mean, the man even went and changed the spectator password. I mean, it completely threw me trying to get in to do the streaming, but never mind.
Why would you do that to you?
I don't know. It's plain evil. But it's almost as evil as when he set the temperature the way he did at that Paul Ricard race that time. But anyway, we'll never let him forget that one.
Never let him forget that.
No, definitely not. But from a stream point of view, it's been some really good watching. There's been some great battles, little incidents here and there, but nothing too crazy. Great start to the GT4 Championship. Ben, thanks for coming to join us for a quick chat afterwards. And Johnny, thank you for joining us throughout the night. It was
no worries.
Always good to hear from you. Now, let's just very quickly talk about what else is coming up this week, because it is a packed, busy week here at oNiD. Now, Wednesday night is traditional night off. Nothing going on. But Thursday night is round 2 of the rookies. Now, unfortunately, I can't be here Thursday night, so Johnny, I think you're going to be riding solo on Thursday night. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I'll be riding solo on the comms. I do have my local friendly cameraman helping me. Ben's going to do the cameras for me, but I will be on comms. Please come and join me. Say hello, so I'm not bored for 2 hours. That'd be really appreciative.
Anyone who missed it, the rookies last week was just incredible fun. It was
Immense.
The racing was unreal. So if you missed it last week, you can watch it again on Twitch or on YouTube. But please come and join Johnny live for that one on Thursday night. I'm hoping that as long as the Wi-Fi is good enough in the Royal Stoke Hospital, I can sit and listen in as well myself because I won't have much else to do. But then Friday is the big birthday, big spa, big grid. How many have we got on the grid for that one now?
82.
I beg your pardon?
82 cars have registered for that race.
82 cars through Eau Rouge on lap one.
Oh, yes.
You haven't done anything funny with weather, have you?
I was going to, but I thought that'd be really, really harsh.
It should be more than harsh. It would be absolutely sadistic. But no, that'll be amazing. I can't remember. Is there a stream for that one on Friday?
No stream. No stream unless you're back and fully fit, but which I doubt you will be. I think everyone else who's actually we could ask to stream is
racing.
Is actually racing. Yeah. So. But it's all about actually getting together as a community, not so much putting it on stream, about getting together, all of us, because some people race just GT4, some people race just in the GT3 championships, and some people actually don't race ACC with us at all, so it's all about getting together and having a bit of a celebration and just having a big old race. And imagine 82 people in the voice chat, it's going to be absolute carnage.
Oh my good lord, that hadn't even crossed my mind, the thought of 80 plus people in the voice chat, but excellent stuff. I mean, let me just say as well, we've what are we, 1st of Feb now, so the big birthday's on the 4th of Feb. Yep. And we currently sit at 942 members, so we are now at 1,000 minus 58. It's outside chance that we might be able to squeeze that in time for the birthday race, right?
Yeah, it would be absolutely lovely if we could get to 1,000 members on our first birthday. It would be pretty awesome. So we didn't think. I think I said. Oh, we have 943. Someone else who just joined.
Hey, so. Good person. And Jimbo Bobbins has just followed us on Twitch as well. So the Twitch followers are clicking up nicely as well. It's just what a year it's been. But I'm sure at some point Johnny and I will be back with episode 3 of the oNiD Arms as well. So we'll give you a date on that one very, very shortly.
I've lots to talk about as well.
It's just absolutely nuts.
There was an AMS2 update today.
I saw Road America. And it looked like some 80s Formula 1 cars as well to add into the vintage F1 mix there. So, yeah, plenty to talk about. But for now, we are done. What a great night this has been, and I look forward to listening in on Thursday night, and I look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. So thank you for tonight, and I'll be back soon. I've now muted the things. Playing the intro videos and